So Curlfest was this past weekend and I've gotten a lot of mixed reviews. I got feedback from a lot of my followers and I polled you guys on Instagram. If you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me at pinkvalenciaga_. But I asked you guys if you wanted to hear my unpopular opinion. Now, in no way am I here to bash, defame, or be derogatory towards the founders of the Curlfest event and those who participated in organizing it, because I understand something at that magnitude requires an insane amount of effort. So don't think this is trying to be negative. This is constructive criticism and something that, because I paid money, because I went, I think this will be valuable to the people who put this event on. So if you don't know, Curlfest is this 2-day festival that celebrates the natural hair movement, all things natural and geared towards women of color. So you see so many people of different walks of life, different shapes, sizes, colors, just come out to celebrate one another. And one of the biggest reasons why I was so adamant about supporting this type of event is because representation is important, and they're affording creatives and other people like myself a space, a safe space to come together, to network and connect and just celebrate each other. And if you guys see the pictures, the images, they are so beautiful. And it's like, if you didn't want to be a part of something like this, you're crazy. So of course the images and everybody's vlogs and experience piqued my interest, so I was right on with it. And the Curlfest event is organized by a group of women who call themselves the Curly Girl Collective. They've executed this event in the years prior, so it's done nothing but grow and gain more popularity and even more media coverage, to the point where they were able to land an interview on The Breakfast Club. That's huge. So I appreciate the time, the effort, and the publicity that they put into this. They had promotions leading up to the date in which the tickets will go on sale, just so you're ready, you can make your purchase. I already knew that I was gonna buy a platinum ticket. Honey, you get guaranteed access to the venue, which we're gonna talk about. You get a Curlfest tote with like basically a swag bag. You get full-size products and you get some travel size or pillow packs. And you also get 15% off vendors in the marketplace, and you get access to the chill zone. To me, that sounded like the best deal possible, so I jumped on it. I purchased my ticket for $53.79, and I probably finalized my sale within 10 minutes of the tickets going live, so I was on it. Now, I'm gonna say, first off, I'm gonna give like some quick do's and don'ts throughout this, but if you arrive late, you're already at a disadvantage. If you come hungry, you're already at a disadvantage. The lines for Curlfest as a whole are very, very nauseatingly and just like horrendous. They're super long. The platinum line for me to gain access was long. Silver and gold were even crazy. They were so much longer. You could definitely be in line trying to gain access to the event for an hour. Now, the Curlfest event is in Prospect Park in Brooklyn. Now, this is just a regular park, okay, sis? It's not something special, so you got to keep that in mind. Dress accordingly to the elements, the weather, because it definitely looked like it was going to rain. It was teasing us a little bit, but for the most part, I was able to make it. I came a little bit later. I came after 2, which is definitely something I advise you all to never do. You should be trying to get there at like 11:30, 11 o'clock if you can, just to be in the surrounding area, because walking up into the access point is going to take you some time. There was no signage to indicate where I needed to go. I actually had to ask a police officer if I was even going in the right direction, because on my way I saw people like jogging. There was like a picnic. I was like, they didn't really like block this off specifically for Curlfest. I have signage that will let you know, okay, this area is for the event. So it was kind of like you just keep wandering, you see the vendors, you can network, you can talk to them, see what's going going on, but as I got closer to the access point, the vendors became more in number, so I kind of knew, okay, I'm in the right direction. So once I saw the line for platinum, I was like, okay, it's moving a little slow, but I'm like, you know what, let's just get online. But I honestly can tell you, the line for silver and gold was ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense. So I get on the platinum line. There are people ahead of me and they have choice words. They're not happy, and I can't blame them. I wasn't particularly happy about the holdup, and I didn't understand what was kind of like the bottleneck effect for the line, and, you know, things like moving along. So once I got to the front and my barcode was scanned, there was only one woman with her iPhone out scanning barcodes so that you can, you know, get your wristband and your tote bag. Now, when I saw that, I said, this all makes sense. I said, if this is an indication of what's happening in platinum, then I can only imagine why it's so slow for silver and gold. Now, I paid nearly $60, and the guy who gave me my wristband, he didn't even put it on for me. It was just like kind of like a here. I didn't like, you know, I really didn't like that. I said, you know, can you help me put my wristband on? And then once I got in, it's like you're swarmed. You're literally swarmed. It's just nothing but people. But then I noticed, I'm like, there are people just coming into the event willy-nilly. Like, you can literally finesse your way. And if you follow the hashtag Curlfest or hashtag Curlfest 2018, you will see how people said, girl, you don't even need a ticket. Just finesse your way and just slide up on in there. You don't need a ticket. It's not even necessary. And they're really making that like a public thing. So I hope that the organizers for Curlfest kind of realize, like, a lot of people finesse their way into the event, and it's not really fair to the people who paid their money to get in. And that also raises a concern about security. And if you have something of this magnitude, where you have upwards of 25,000 people showing up for an event, I definitely think you can afford a convention kind of expo feel event in an enclosed space where you can better monitor the people coming in and out of your event, because that's a security concern. Like, let's not act like things don't happen at these very public events, and you just want to make sure you're taking the necessary precautions so people feel safe. People will bring in their kids, so I can understand the, you know, cause for concern. Now, this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to wear this very colorful hair. I spent my time doing this and like making this look. I wanted to support a black business owner who has like honestly grown to be my friend here on YouTube. She's such a lovely young lady, and I wanted to support her. I wanted to just like, you know, give her my coins and just say like, I have this vision, can you create some pieces? And she did exactly that. So I did this with the intention of, you know, showing my creative edge and, you know, taking pictures. I had no problem taking pictures. I know some people are particular, they're, you know, concerned, it's like, how will the pictures be used? But I loved my interactions with certain photographers. You know, they said, can I take a picture of you? You can take my business card, and here is the website link if you want to access the photos later on. I love that kind of protocol because that lets me know like, you're serious, you're respectful, you mean business. I had some sort of odd encounters where I was posing for a photo and a young lady said, on behalf of the two photographers who were kind of, you know, trying to take photos, she said, if you want your photos, then you have to text me from the number on the business. You have to text the number on the business card if you want me to give you their Instagram. Now, I didn't understand that. I don't know if that's a common occurrence. Can somebody let me know, like, if you've encountered that before or if that's the norm? To me, I didn't feel comfortable with that, so I told her I just posed for photos, so I think I'm entitled to knowing where my photos are going to be. I said, can you write their Instagram name down on the business card? And, you know, she ended up doing it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to give you guys a hard time, but I think like that should kind of be a given. That's a better business practice. And so like after that, I was like, okay, fine. So again, I'm still trying to work my way to the access point. This story is kind of like out of whack a little bit. But I'm on my way to the access point to get on the platinum line, and this lady asked me if I wanted to wear her ear cuff and like so she could take a photo of me. So I'm like, you didn't even let me know like the name of your brand, you didn't even let me know about your product. It was kind of like, you take a photo of me, and I didn't like that. Like, I don't like the feeling of people believing I'm naive enough to do stuff like that. And I'm not saying because if you wanted to do it, it's you being naive, but I have a different perspective on things. And so I was like, you know, I'd rather not. I was like, you know, I don't really know like the purpose of this. You didn't really give me more information. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep going. And I wasn't trying to say that to be rude, but it was just, I wasn't expecting it, so I didn't really know how to respond to it. So that's the thing. And another thing to state, if you are going to an event as a YouTuber or brand ambassador, your treatment is going to be different. It's something that you have to acknowledge and be real about. I've been invited to events, and I also like coming out of my pocket and paying for events because that's very important. So I can know what actually, you know, my money is going towards and the experience that I get, like what's the value and the quality for the amount that I'm paying. So I completely understand people's frustrations where if you're a brand ambassador, if you're an influencer, a YouTuber, your treatment is going to be different. It definitely is. So I liked me just going in there being regular day. I'm regular, sis. So I just went in there as normal, didn't have any expectations of being pulled into a particular brand. I just wanted to be in the moment with everyone. And I can say the lines for entry were long, the lines for food were even longer. I went to this event hungry, and that is the biggest mistake I could have ever made, and I do not encourage anyone to do that with all of the heat that was going on. You could definitely, you know, if you're someone who needs to eat by a certain time, please do not try to take that risk, because getting food at its particular time is not guaranteed. And I think that the vendors were great, but there needed to be so many more. And I'm also vegetarian, so I thought about the people who are vegan. Do you guys know if they have vegetarian and vegan friendly vendors? I think that's also important to make that investment so that you can kind of meet the food restrictions or preferences of the people who frequent your event, because that you want to feel like you matter. But there was no like real clear way to throw away garbage. When I was in the line to get my ticket like scanned, like there were spoons on the ground, like a spoon actually went into my shoe. And it's like that, I wasn't freaking out, but I'm like, these things could have been avoided if you guys have ample garbage cans, recycling bins around so people can discard their waste. And I actually think that Curlfest had to address some of the concerns regarding the cleanup efforts after the event and while the event, because you guys can see in people's vlogs and in pictures, girl, there's trash. Like, there is trash. And to some people, and you cannot like invalidate people's concerns and what's most important to them, because everyone who attends these events are different and are looking at different things. And so cleanup and a clean environment again is important. There are children. You don't, want an instance where a child picks something up or they, hurt themselves on a spoon or a fork that's on the ground that they don't see, or a knife. So those types of things you want to keep in mind. I think that for the amount of money that was paid for this event, my expectations were a lot higher. A lot of people talked about the swag bags. I think that either silver or gold, they got a tote, they got a cute tote with a blanket and a cup. When I saw the cup, I was like, I would have loved to have had the cup. Like, I loved what I got. I got a ton of products, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I got. I got, quite a few, I would say full to medium sized products, and I'm definitely going to put these to use or either give them away. And then I also got some travel sizes. So for what was in the bag, I definitely think it was well worth it. But people were making the argument that platinum should have had what every other tier had and then some. And I think that makes sense. You want to make clear distinctions in between the tiers. So I think if silver would have had something, then gold has their own package but what silver has, and then platinum has what gold and silver has, and so it makes sense. And like, I wanted to do a little bit of math to help put things in perspective, because I'm all about like numbers. So I took the average prices of the 3 tickets or the 3 tiers that were available for purchase, and the average cost of tickets was $38.25. Let's say around 15,000 people paid. That's over $500,000. It comes in at $573,750. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And what kind of frustrates me is that I want to know like how the money is distributed, because this is only an estimate and it's probably on the lower end. So more than 15,000 people could have potentially paid for this event, but where is that money going? So you want to make sure that you're kind of funneling that money into the event and making improvements from the previous year. Because if you guys have been in the previous years, did you see an improvement? Did you see things that kind of took a turn for the worse and were kind of downgraded in any respect? You know, make every intention of, you know, understanding that you may not have cell phone reception. There are so many people in that park that service is limited. They're like, can you download your ticket? People are like literally with their phones in the air because service is crazy. Like, I have a Verizon, sis. I usually have like all my bars, and I was struggling to get text out and to, you know, I downloaded my ticket beforehand, which I highly recommend you guys do. There were people there from the United Kingdom. If you're traveling from Europe, California, please do your research and make sure that this is something that you definitely want to do. I would not discourage anyone from going after you've done your research. Now, it all depends really about your personality. How willing are you to adapt to what's going on? The fact that when you get there, based on the time that you get there, you may not be able to lay your blanket out and sit with your friends. It may be so crowded around the DJ booth where everyone's dancing that you're kind of huddled on each other. Are you okay with those enclosed spaces being very tight, very cramped? It's not always for everybody. Yes, it's a festival, but could it have been laid out better? Could there have been better barricades for security purposes to make sure that you help with the flow of foot traffic? And there was a lot of standing around. People were not really like moving. You kind of wanted to kind of preserve this space that you're in because you know that's a guaranteed spot. But it got to a point where like trying to set up a chair, a blanket, it was out of the question. Knowing that you paid and then people can get in for free and they can get the free goodies at the vendors. And people had to wait in line for hours to get free products or to get gift bags. Like, that's taking away from another person's experience. And I guess we just got to be careful and mindful that it might be good for you, but it affects the experience of others. So I was just trying to look at everything from every angle possible, and I just wanted to provide perspective. If you went to this event, let me know in the comments below. Take the polls. Did you guys go to Curlfest? Did you enjoy yourself? I definitely want to know. And again, this is in no way intended to bash Curlfest and the Curly Girl Collective, because I appreciate what they are doing, and if they can, you know, make statements and address that they are going to make improvements and maybe even change the venue, I will be there again and willingly support the movement. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for sitting through this little ramble, but I definitely wanted to do this video and give an in-depth and very thorough review. So I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you for listening.